consumers think, feel, and act? What motivates us to do something? Why do we choose to go to the Eaton Center? Why do we want to buy this product over another product? We want to know why consumers behave the way that they do. Okay? We actually have the whole course is about consumer behavior. And that course code is MKT 400. I actually teach that course actually for a number of years now. But to get to that course, you have to finish this one. And then after that, you take Marketing 300, which is also mandatory. And then after that, then you can take this one. Okay? But don't worry about this right now. Let's learn the very basics. So it's about satisfying needs and wants of consumers better than competitors. We want to know, right? How can we really make a customer happy so that we really tackle what they want and what they need? Even if they think they don't have a need, we're going to create a need. Okay? Value is only when it's perceived by the consumer. If they think there's value, then you know you've won their hearts. Okay? There are two types of value. The first value is utilitarian, utility value. Utility value is objective and rational. So the first type of value is utilitarian, also known as utility value. If I ran out of milk, then I'm going to go into the store and buy milk because I need to have milk for cereal. All right? That's objective reason. But if I started, after buying milk, I go to the wine store and I bought a bunch of wine because I just want them, suddenly now it's not utilitarian value. It becomes a hedonic value. Hedonic, okay, it's spelled as H-E-D, hedonic, H-E-D-O-N-I-C. Hedonic. So hedonic value is the second type of value, which is about emotions, it's about your experience, it's more of the want. Okay? I want to try out this flavor of wine. I want to indulge in another type of wine. You want to, but it's not necessary. When you're so close with the word so big, you can't tell if you're spelling it right anymore. Okay, there you go. There's two types of values. Oh, it's also very dark. Okay. That's not, therefore, we must understand consumers to understand what value is. Let's go through some examples right now. Class, behold. Tell me your first impressions. Feel free to throw out words, phrases as you desire. PG appropriate, please. We have 17-year-olds in the classroom. Any thoughts? First impressions. Fashion model. Good. Right. I feel like you're holding back on your thoughts with what you see here. Fashion model for department stores. All right. Okay. To the gentleman that just came in, hello. Hi. What's your name? Joe. The class wants you to tell us, what do you think of this image as first impression?
First impression, it's very simple. I think simplicity is effective. I don't know what they're really catering to, but it doesn't look like it would realistically be a male audience. The dress stands out clearly. The first thing I noticed when I walked in.
So this dress really stands out, right? It's like a bright,
very
tone red. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for letting us put you on the spot. Okay. Anything else? We've got department store. We've got department store fashion model. We've got bright red tone really stands out. Yes.
With bright red tones, usually there's an emotion related to it, which is vibrant, sexy.
Okay. Well, another smart answer. That is correct. So usually colors that are of this nature really comes at you, right? It's very intense. Yes? It's very intense. In fact, actually, if someone is like this, do you feel comfortable going to this person to mingle and ask questions or get help?
No.
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 No? Oh, okay. Really? Yeah? No? Okay. Anyhow, red, like this marker, signifies ferocity and also stimulating appetites. All right, think about that for a moment. So red, according to many consumer studies, have shown to be ferocity and also to stimulate appetites. In fact, if you were to do a high fashion model shoot, yes, so if you want to do a photo shoot and you want to really stand out, the best way is to, number one, have a fan blowing at your face, and number two, wear red, okay? Because it will bring the beauty out when you do that photo. Now, it's not just this dress here. If you take a look at everything here, there are different shades of reds. And as you can see, they're all food-related products. As I mentioned to you before, ferocity and to also stimulate appetite. You may be thinking, why red? Well, one of the reasons may be because when we want to buy fresh food, we tend to look for things that are bright in color, green. Whoever said green was trying to be tricky. Rich in color, yes. It resembles blood, yes. If you look at here, meat. Apology for all the vegetarians. But it is to signify freshness as well, right? You don't want to buy food products that are dated. So red has a lot of significance here. But what about colors like on this page here? Blue.
Trust?
Like a calm color.
Trust?
Trust, okay, very good one. Trust. And I heard something else here.
Like calm, like.
Calm, tranquil, relaxed,
Yeah.
cool.
Life.
Yeah, go ahead.
Don't you say like eating in a blue plate like suppresses your appetite? So you
Oh, it suppresses your appetite. Interesting. So you get served a blue plate.
Yeah, like if you eat a blue plate, like you eat less.
Okay. Yes, very good. It's definitely more toned down, more relaxed, right? And this gentleman's wearing blue as well.
It feels like a little bit more of a modern feel.
Okay, modern feel. Do you guys feel he's modern with his light blue? Did it work to his definition? Okay. Yes, finally?
Just like you said, red was not approachable, blue was more on.
Yeah, it certainly does, right? I mean, he's an approachable guy.
No, not this one.
Not this one, eh? Anyone here wearing red? Oh, the gentleman over there is wearing red. But and he doesn't know. Hey. Still does not know. Anyhow, on that note, sense of sight can influence emotions. All right? Colors can also provoke someone. The wrong colors can be offensive. Some colors are tied to cultural affiliations. That is true. I attended a funeral last summer. My coworker rather. My coworker's, one of the family members got shot actually. And I actually don't know the family, but I had to pay my respect given the work obligation. So I planned to go to the funeral. It was held at a church. And what would you typically wear when you go to a funeral? Okay, so it was loud and clear black, right? Formal and black. Would this attire be reasonably okay? Or not black enough?
Your shirt sticks out.
Oh, my shirt sticks. Okay. So maybe make it a darker color, right? And then more or less will be okay? So that's exactly what I did. I made sure everything was really all this color so that it's fitting for the occasion. Right? Even before I walked in, I was in the parking lot. I was in the car, I drove in, and I saw a bunch of people wearing something else that was very shocking to me. And what color was that?
White.
It was white. And it wasn't just a little bit white, it was all white. Okay? White jacket, white shirt, white shoes, white belt. I don't know where they buy a white belt from, but it was all white. Some people wore white hat in the summer too, okay? And I think, okay, I must have done something wrong with my dress, so I look very sad with all black. And I don't know why, to be precise, but I think in my understanding, in that particular culture, in that particular church meeting, it was okay. Okay, it was seen maybe as a celebration, but also as a memorial. 1 and 2, yes.
So that's what I was going to mention. Like, depending on your culture, people will wear white.
it's kind of like a symbol of rebirth or the new life.
Yeah, for sure. It was actually a fairly young guy that got into that situation. Yep.
White symbolizes purity.
Okay, symbolizes purity, and so.
Washing away of.
Okay. I like it. Very good. So that's a good symbolism. You actually would answer that in an essay question for another class. Okay. For class, anyone here with Alexis? Either you have one, or no have one, or no people have one. Who are the most common buyers of a white Lexus, in your opinion? I hear a woman. I hear my uncle has one. Middle class. Okay. What about age?
Yeah.
Age. Yes. Older people? I would say 30 to 45. 30 to 45? How old do you think I am?
You drive away from those?
I don't like that. 42. 42, okay. So I'm in that range now, for your definition, right? Do I have a Lexus?
I would say
Okay. Remember, I've always wanted an Escalade, but I didn't get it, and I'm now looking at trucks. So, yeah, I do have a Lexus. Anyone else? Final thoughts? Yes.
What do you drive? Just curious.
Honda. Honda CRV, actually.
CRV.
Yes.
What color is it?
Civic's too small. Silver.
Are you looking to upgrade?
Are you? Yeah.
I work for Toronto Auto Group, so if you are looking to upgrade, let me know. As a side note after class.
Okay. I gotta tell you this. So I used to have a student in my marketing class. He, it was an upper marketing class. He works at Don Valley North Lexus. I don't know if I mentioned this. And every single evening, it was a Friday evening class, okay? He would come late, like we'll talk about an hour and a half late. And it was a mandatory class as well. And then eventually he came to me and said, Steve, I'm so sorry I have to be late, but I work as a salesperson at Don Valley North Lexus. And Friday nights are busy for me. I'm making good business, and so I have to be late. I said, okay, I understand. But every time when he come to class, he would be dressed like, whoa. If you like my little thing going on here, she's got like, flowers and all that stuff. I asked him, where did you buy them? So they're good. And as I was having a conversation with him, he's very articulate, very social as well, kind of like this guy here. So over time, he said, you know what? You seem to like Lexus. Why don't you come over to my dealership and I can get you a great deal. So even then he was selling to me just with the conversation. So we'll talk after.
Okay, if you want to stick with Honda, I can get you a great deal.
Okay.
If you're looking for a Ridgeline or a Pilot,
Okay.
something a little bit larger.
Oh, okay.
Accommodating, more seating space, or trunk space.
Okay. Well, I'm only one person. There are many other potential buyers here. Okay, so the answer is, studies have shown that older people see colors in a dull cast, and therefore prefer white and other brighter tones. Mature consumers are likely to choose a white car. In fact, Lexus makes 60% of their vehicles in white. Yes. As people age, their vision deteriorates. Unfortunately, that is the part of life. And they like to stand out. When I'm in with my mom, who's a senior, she wears very bright colors, okay? Like bright magenta, bright orange. I'd ask, do you have to wear all that whenever I go out with you? She's like, oh, yes, why not? It's beautiful. And then when she gives me clothing, right? She buys things for me sometimes. She always gives me very colorful dress shirts, like patterned and very colorful. And I will take them, of course, very humbly and thankful, but I typically don't wear them. But as you can see, different preferences, but also perhaps with the dull cast. Yes.
I was just going to say, like, I don't see it. Nowadays, people just like review cars, prefer stuff. Yeah, let's do people, and that's true with as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this could be a generalization for sure. Certainly in a number of studies, they have demonstrated that. But consumer culture can shift over time, and suddenly everybody wants to get orange cars, right? Whenever I see an orange, a bright orange Dodge Ram truck, I'm like, that's the car I want, right? Because I want a really bright tone, even though I'm not, hopefully old. Just yet. Okay. On that note, let's move on. When we look at something, we make perceptions, and therefore, if we can play with the perceptions of our vision, there are chances to increase value. So here we have 2 bars of chocolate. One is a regular Snickers. The other one is a Snickers big one. If I told you it was, say, 50 cents more, will you buy the big one or the regular one? The big one?
And since it's a value thing, so you start to like figure out which one has the more value.
Yeah, are you going to take the price divided by the quantity and then take the price divided by the quantity and have like your value? Okay, we could do that. We could do that. So it ultimately depends, right? But just by the fact that they write big one, people who don't really care about all the numbers, they will think, well, it's going to be a better value because it's a big one. Just with the wording there, it's a big one, right? Even though maybe the big one is just a little bit more, maybe they just push it out with air, kind of like a bag of chips, the perception is there. In fact, if you take a look at a number of chocolate bars nowadays, how do chocolate bars look like? They don't necessarily look like this. They look like they're flat, right? They're flat bar, they're long, they're about 100 grams, right? They're about like this size. And so many people now, when they go and buy chocolate bars, they're flat. When you look at something that's flat, how do you feel about it? Boring? Not exciting? But especially if it's a chocolate, how do you feel? 1 and 2? Yes.
Because it's thin, it feels like more surface area, so you feel like you're getting much less than what you're getting.
Okay.
And if it's thick, it feels like it's less surface area. So a lot of people just don't understand the thickness of the same amount.
Okay, good. So that's one potential interpretation, that it looks and it appears to be greater, right, in size because it's flattened out now. Very good. Yes.
Oh, I had a different people it's thinner, so they feel less guilty.
That's also another perception as well. Yeah.
Like they seem to be less
Yes.
chocolate.
Yes. Yeah. So when they bite on it, they feel like, oh, it's just a thin layer of chocolate, and they've got much more to bite through. But maybe they'll bite it and it looks larger in that sense. Okay. So a number of possibilities. So as you can see, the way how you shape things can influence your perception. Next, consumers ate 45% more popcorn for medium as compared to a large popcorn buckets. You like popcorns. You order popcorns from the theaters when you go to watch a movie, but you may order, say, a medium because you don't want to have too much. But then, after having a medium, it's not enough. You end up buying another medium. 2 medium is greater than that of 1 large popcorn. So size impact our vision as to what is more, what is less. A number of bottles now, they may look bigger, but if you look at the bottom, it's typically not flat, right? They actually have a dent that goes really, really inside that bottle. So the quantity is actually either the same or less, but they make the bottle look bigger, so that it looks more, but it's actually the same. I'm talking about the bottom, it actually goes in, right? Not this one here. All right. Next one is the sense of smell from a consumer behavior standpoint. Scents stir emotion or create calm feelings. When you go to a store like Bath and Body Works, you are experiencing a lot of
Smell.
yes, a different smell, right? You get candles, you get bath bombs. Do they have bath bombs here?
Yeah.
Or is that more for, is it Lush?
No, it's both of them have it.
Okay. When I go to these stores, I'm always impressed at how many people want to buy this product because it never existed like that before, okay? But in the last number of years, it became a very big market. And more and more people want that. So it's on trend for sure. Another exciting one is Wanda's Belgian waffles. When you walk on Yonge Street, if you happen to stumble across Wanda's Belgian waffles, you might get lucky and smell a little bit of baking the waffles. All right? Now, many people, when they smell that delicious waffle being baked, they're so tempted, what do?
They go ahead.
They stop and go in. In fact, that's how they market. Okay, they never close their doors, and during the winter they do close their door, but they keep the window open. They purposely bake it right outside, right beside the window, so that the smell will just filter onto the streets. Okay, but that's what they do. Another interesting study, okay, and this is actually more than one study, is that the smell of fresh cinnamon buns can actually induce, yes, sexual arousal in males. How fascinating. The next time you want to impress someone, just go buy one and go, here, have a great day. There are different studies. The study isn't so much about the smell, but it's also about the amount of, the potency of the actual substance, and how it's used. Okay, on that note, I'm going to move on, is hearing. Sound can also affect behavior. Alright, if this class was very, very quiet, nobody was talking, nobody was making a whisper, you will also feel uncomfortable to make sounds, right? But the fact that we're engaging, we're talking, you feel more comfortable to make sounds. In a store environment, people use music to do what? So, music is to enhance experience of shopping in a retail environment. Alright? What's the purpose for having upbeat music versus, say, a classical, soft jazz music? Yep.
You'll make more impulsive decisions.
Okay, by fast music then, right? Fast music, you can lead to impulsive purchase on the spot. Yes.
Also, you can attract what the market is going for. So if you go to like a longer period, trading, like hip hop, rap, if you don't get that more classes, or you can
Very good. I like that definition for sure. So, depending on the store and how you want to market yourself, the customization of music is important. And finally,
I've learned that in grocery stores, they can store music so that like shoppers take their time and go into each aisle rather than like upbeat music where you just want to take it out of the store.
okay. Interesting. So the people, they want people to put more in the basket as they browse and browse and browse. Okay, take your time. Okay, go ahead.
Specifically at my room, they have like a curated playlist
Yeah.
that's meant to like trigger certain emotions from group and stuff like that. And if you were to add like another song, you need to bring it up to like the higher ups to actually prove it hasn't been played.
Okay. So you work in a store, and you guys, I guess, play different music depending on a variety of factors, or is it always the same music that you guys play?
It's one playlist, but it's specifically curated for specific emotions and moods.
Okay, so it's actually a curated playlist for emotions. Fantastic. You're very eager about, okay, go ahead.
Kind of like when you go to the casino, so they'll have all the lights and all the music playing, and
Yeah,
they'll
yeah.
hear all the sound effects of people
Okay.
winning, so you're just more tempted to spend.
Okay, very good. So definitely, in a casino environment, there's a different sound effect to it. Good. Yes.
So at the place that I work at, we play music very loudly in order to intensify feelings, and the person ends up being very disoriented. Therefore,
Oh, you're trying to drug people through music. Okay. All right. Fantastic examples. I mean, I learned more actually talking about this. I'm not sure if you feel that in-store music is a noisy thing or it's actually a sales generator, but let me tell you a story. Some years ago, I was browsing around Ethan Center, and I would see a store, and the title is called Garage. The store is called Garage. I will always wonder what's in the garage, because you can't tell what's in the garage. It has a wall at the main entrance, so you have to actually go around the wall to see what's inside. And day after day, month after month, I would actually not go in. But one day, I was a little bit more adventurous than usual. I decided to see what's in the garage. So let's assume that this is the entrance, okay? As soon as I stepped here, just about the entrance here, there was very loud music. Okay, I literally just stood there thinking, man, this music is ridiculously loud. No way am I going to go inside. Okay, so I took one step back, and then I left. And then after that period of time, I still did not go into garage because they discouraged me from going inside due to the noise. Okay. And I don't remember how long after that, but eventually I did go into the garage. when they had the music more controlled, and it turns out to be a store that sells. It's a clothing store catering to. Okay, yes. Is a teenager woman, young woman clothing? So I guess I was not their target market. Anyways, they didn't lose out on me. Okay. Also very interesting, when you go to, say, H&M, right? They're busy, especially at the one at Young Dundas. Do they play a lot of music? Yeah. It's very intense as well. The lineups are long for people wanting to buy stuff. It's a busy store, okay? But it works for them and also works for the clientele. When we talk about hearing, it's also about the words of brands, right? How you pronounce them. Cashmere, Cottonelle, right? Words that end in Nelly, Nella are more feminine. They're softer. But words that end in esker, as an example, are more masculine. There are companies that deals with phonetics, okay? That deals with the sounds and syllables of words, and they advise their clients on how to come up with the best brand names that will appeal to their audience and also what they want their brand to be perceived as. Okay, so it's actually a big business. And finally, okay, waiters. Now, this is actually a generalization. Apology for anybody who may be working in this profession. It's just to show you that the world of touch is incredibly powerful. Okay, incredibly powerful. How do we meet each other? When we meet each other, what do? We shake our hands, right? So what are we trying to do now? We're touching, right? We're trying to build that bond by touching each other. You may go to a different country where you don't know the person, is a complete stranger. You don't just handshake, but you may actually, you do a peck on the cheeks and hug and so on. So it's even more touchy than just a handshake, right? I remember I was with a colleague of mine who was 10 years older than me, and we went to Earl's. I think it's Bay and King, somewhere in that area. It's like a pub, but we went there around lunchtime. And so we ordered one share appetizers. I ordered a stir fry. He ordered a burger. And we both had a simple drink. It was maybe like a pop or a juice. That's it. And as soon as we came to the pub, the waitress was very, very friendly. She was greeting us nicely, and she kept on asking how we're doing. And as I was eating my food, she will come around and ask, anything I can help you with? Do you need anything else? And she said this. She says, "Hello, boys. How's it going with the food?" And think, boys. I do have a boyish look, but my colleague is 10 years older than me. Boys. I took that great compliment, no problem. And then at some point, she was walking around again, and then she would be checking in again, "How are you doing, boys?" And she placed her hand on my shoulder. Okay. At that time, everywhere I go, I'll be wearing a blazer of different color, and that day I was wearing another blue. Okay. And I think, oh no, she touched me. So now she was obviously trying to build this rapport with the customer. Very, very good job. Fantastic. But we had a positive experience. She was very delightful, and she was really trying to make that bond with us. And at the end, when we were about to pay, we did tip her well, okay? But not as well as those social media viral posting that you see. A life-changing tip, surprised by an anonymous donor. It didn't came like that. Okay? It was a nice tip, but not that good. On that note, you can see the power of just playing with your five senses as a study of consumer behavior, right? How do you do consumer behavior studies? Well, you can go through qualitative research that is known as focus groups. You can do interviews. You can ask for information. You can literally ask and say, "Tell me, either in person or anonymously, what do you think about it?" You can gather information through CI, which is spying what others are doing. You can look at trends, which we talked about moments ago. So a lot of these are an aggregate of information that constitutes studying of consumer behavior. All right? Okay, so let's see where we're at. Timing, let's go on a little bit more. All right. When we make a decision to purchase, it's never that simple. We have about 20 minutes left. We go through 5 steps. We'll go through 5 steps to make a decision. Okay? From problem recognition, information search, all the way to post-purchase behavior. Any textbook that you go to that speaks to consumer behavior will go through these 5 steps. They may have a different name, but it's basically the 5 steps. Okay. Would anyone like to tell us what they purchased today, as an example? I see a lot of drinks, but I hear ice cream. Yes?
I bought 2 cheeseburgers.
You bought 2 cheeseburgers. Okay, fantastic. So let's just pause there. 2 cheeseburgers and? Oh, okay, very good. All right. Which examples do we want to go for? Chick-fil-A. So what was precisely the product that you purchased? Okay, chicken sandwich combo. Fantastic. Okay, so we've got burgers, sandwich. Good. So first question. What prompted you to even decide to make the purchase? What was your want? What was your need?
I was hungry.
You were hungry? Done. And you were also hungry. Okay, fair. So the problem is that we're feeling hungry. And in order to deal with our hunger as a growing young man, okay, you need to nourish yourself with food, okay? All right. So that's a very clear problem. Now, the problem was so intense, your hunger is so notable, now you're ready to search for information. When we say information search, we're talking about where to find food, okay? We find food based on what we want at that moment, okay? What else? How do we get affected by where to go to fill our hunger? Word of mouth, very good. Advertisements? Emotions?
Promotions.
Oh, promotions, good. Promotions. Maybe our past experience, right? Maybe we've purchased from the same store last time, it was a good experience, we're going to go back again, right? Maybe someone told you.
Sometimes we just pass by and
That's right. Maybe just because it looks good and you haven't tried it, you want to go and take a look. Okay? All right. And then now we'll move on to the evaluation of alternatives. So far, we literally mentioned like 10 different options to get information from. So when we think about filling our hunger, you may have 20 places that you want to go. But you're not going to go to all 20. So you might narrow it down to 2 places. Okay? You might narrow it to 2 places. That's the evaluation of alternatives. At that time, you may be weighing out how much money do I have in my pocket today? Do I want to be a little bit more on budget, or do I want to splurge a little bit, right? That's where the evaluation of alternatives comes into play. How far are we from that location? How much walking do I have to do? Do I have coupons? And finally, once you weigh the pros and cons, you're ready to make a purchase. Okay? So back to the 2 gentlemen here. Did you have an alternative option besides the store that you just told us? No, you have no other choice. It was just McDonald's cheeseburgers?
Yeah, because they have a promotion, like, yeah, for the cheeseburger, you spend $1 more. Oh, I bought my cheeseburger, and another $3.
Okay. All right, good. And what was? How did you arrive to that particular store? Did you say 3 years of patience? Okay. Okay. And so you felt like you wanted to try it out because it's really popular. Okay, very good. And did you have a positive buying experience? And did you like your food? It was good? It was good. So your post-purchase behavior is that you're satisfied with your burger. Will you go back there again? To make the same purchase? Probably. And will you do the same? Did you have a positive purchase experience? Did you wait in a long lineup? Not too long? Okay, so you will go back again. All right. Now, I know that I went through that kind of a prolonged somewhat, but basically, that's how you would do the study of consumer purchase decision process. Step by step by step. And really understanding how they made their ultimate decisions, and more importantly, what happened after the decision. Will they go back? Okay? So, at this moment, for the remaining 15 minutes or so, we're going to go through another example that I'm going to provide, and this example is going to a nightclub. And this one is called, anyone here went to? Chris? So Tris is a nightclub. I don't get invited to nightclubs much actually in my life, but a few occasions I do. I would say yes. It was last summer as well. This friend of mine is celebrating his birthday, so he invited a bunch of people to go to a nightclub, and I said, sure. And I'm going to carry out that experience with you by using the 5 steps as well. The first thing you do when you go to a nightclub is to choose where you're going to go, right? Once you've chosen where you're going to go, if you take the transit, you're okay, but if you have to find parking, that's a nightmare in itself, okay? Upon entrance, you have to pay for cover, right? Most likely you have to pay for cover. Not everybody here, depending on who you are, but covers are quite essential nowadays, and that cover charge can go up depending on the place that you go to. Okay? Now, as you go further in after paying for the cover, you also have to, well, even before that, let's assume that you are wearing a jacket. What do you have to do? Get the coat check. And a coat check is not free. Coat check also costs money as well. All right, so there's another fees attached. So you've paid parking, you've paid for the cover, and you have to pay for the coat check. Yes, and sometimes it's a tip for that as well. Because you don't want to dance around with your jackets. It looks just lame. And if you're going to be cool already in a nightclub, you better be cool. Okay? So you're going to have to pay for this as well. Now, after you've did all that, then you're ready to dance, and also buy drinks. And every time you buy drinks, what do you have to do? You have to swipe your card. You start a tab, and you also have to tip. Tip is a must. You must tip. Okay? I mean, you don't have to. Okay? It's okay, but again, you don't want to be that lame person in the nightclub. Other places you might be getting away with it, but not here. So the more and more you drink, what happens? You get drunk, and then who knows what happens? No. You know what has to happen? You will have to go to. You have to go to the ATM to buy. Whoever said that is yes. Okay. No, you have to go to the washroom. Okay. You have to go to the washroom. When you go to the washroom, okay. So here's the thing. Okay. I didn't know when I go to the washroom, there's a washroom attendant. So the washroom attendant actually tells you, hello, sir, you go to this room, hello, whoever, go to this room. So they're actually telling you what to do. I'm like, whoa. There's a line control for washrooms as well. Anyhow, along that corridor, there's also tips. Okay? So everywhere you go, you have to pay tips, and more tips when you go to a nightclub. Basically, the next time when you go to a nightclub, you just bring a Ziploc bag filled with a bunch of coins, okay? Because everywhere you go, you got to tip this and tip that. And as you dance, your coins will just shake with you. Okay? But you won't be alone because everybody is doing that as well. Anyhow. Okay. So, need recognition. The need was actually not for me. It was because I was offered a want. Do you want to go to my birthday party at this nightclub? Okay. It was already offered to me, and I had to decide whether or not I want to do it. But the question is more so, how do we go about choosing that option? Okay. Sometimes when we think about a birthday party, it's just more so a want. But we want something that is maybe psychologically exciting. Or do you want to just have a sit-down, at-home birthday party with a cake? Okay, that's more functional. That's the club. Sometimes we want to wear very fancy clothing. Sometimes we want to wear very high heels. Any ladies here like to wear really high heels? Okay, good. How do you feel when we wear that very high heels?
I actually really like wearing this, so most of the people have to.
Okay, you have to like it. Fantastic. Okay, good. Anyone here drive a motorcycle? At this moment? You do?
Yes, I do.
Okay, did you drive one?
Not today.
Not today. All right. Not today. Okay. Anyone here wants to drive a motorcycle one day? Yeah, you do? Tell us why you want to drive a motorcycle.
I would drive that motorcycle. I would drive a Harley Davidson.
A Harley Davidson. Okay, that's a brand name. Good. Okay. And at the back corner, what's your motivation? The speed. Okay, the speed. Okay. And you're gonna like snake around cars when there's traffic? Okay, you're gonna be one of those guys. Okay, so clearly you can see there's many reasons for why we want something to trigger. Okay? Now the next step is internal search, which is we think about what we've done in the past, what we like, what we don't like. So we go by our life experience. That's internal search. Followed by external search. That is when we go online to search for information. That's when we ask for people for information, for references. Okay? Now, how we search is dependent on a number of risk factors. The higher the risk, the more time we spend on searching for information. All right? For example, before my decision to think about getting a truck, I thought about a Jeep Wrangler, which is this car here. I wanted a Wrangler bad. Okay? I wanted a car that you can actually open up everything and it's just basically naked. All right, just driving around with nothing around it. And because in my mind, I had an image. I had an image that I want to drive around with all these people like that. Okay, that never happened. But what would be a problem with a car like this? What would be a problem with a Jeep Wrangler, whereby you have no doors, no rooftop, nothing?
Maintenance.
When it rains, it's no good, right? In the wintertime, in terms of insulation, it's not the very best. It's not terribly bad, but it's not the greatest, right? Because it's not a proper shield. So there's an aspect of performance risk, right? There's an aspect of performance because it doesn't have a cover, all right? If you're buying, say, a home, of course now, home has a lot of financial risk because there's a lot of money at stake, okay? But let's say you've got a coupon in your mailbox to go to Subway, sandwich store, okay? And you decide to go in and you decide to order, what do you want to order that day at Subway?
Mighty Milk.
Money milk?
Mighty Milk.
Okay. And what would your toppings be? How about onions? Okay? Now, you're like, I love onions, but I'm coming to Market 100 tonight, and who knows, the onion might just spread around. So suddenly, what do we have? What type of risk do we have? Psychological risk. So it's more like a social risk, right? It's a social risk. There you go. It's a social risk. You might offend a friend, etc. All right? Anyways, the list goes on and on. So there's actual risk versus perceived risk. And that can determine how much effort you spend on searching for information. The next step is evaluation of your alternatives. You can create evaluation criteria, and also they're known as determinant attributes. So do you have minimum cutoffs? Do you need to have a must-have? If you're buying TVs, you may say, I only want TVs that are 15-inch or larger. Then, of course, you've got determinant attributes, right? You're looking for a set of minimums, a set of maximums, and then anything that's not it, you will have to eliminate from the list. That's considered to be the evaluative criteria and determinant attributes. So if you ignore this slide, this is Las Vegas. So here you can see we've got another way to evaluate, and that's compensatory and non-compensatory rules. This is for cars. Okay? Here we've got Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. We are weighing each one of the factors differently. Mileage, style, price, accessories. Each one we're giving out of 10, right? But you've got different weightings. So the weighting for mileage is 40%, style is 10%, price is 30%, and accessories 20%. So when you assign a score for every single variable out of 10, for 3 different companies here, you have an overall score. The one with the highest score, obviously, will be kept on the list, and the one that falls below a threshold will be eliminated. So you keep doing that until you get to the winner. That is known as the compensatory and non-compensatory rules. Okay. Another way to make your life simpler is to go through a mental shortcut. If you've got lots of options to choose from, you want to choose the ones that are simple and quick, right? Mental shortcuts are known as heuristics. So you see the word up there, the H word, heuristics? That is known as mental shortcut. We want to make a decision quickly so that we pick something that we are familiar with, that we've bought previously. Okay, that's called mental heuristics. Rule of thumb, or we look for prices that are high. High means high quality, so we associate that as a shortcut. Okay, brand, we look for one that is well known, so we kind of take shortcut and say if it's well known, even if we don't know about it, it must be good. Okay, product presentation, if it looks good, then it must be good. That's also another example of a mental shortcut that we make. Okay. Now back to the example of the nightclub. For us at the time, it was basically choosing where it's located. Okay, so proximity to where we're standing. So is it the Orchid nightclub? Is it the Fifth Social Club? Is it Live, etc.? So we picked the one that was reasonably in walking distance, okay, as the determinant attributes. The fourth step, you make the purchase, all right, and the experience that I had was interesting. It was a very, very cloudy night, I remember, and there was just a lady that was right here, or either here or here, I don't remember, okay? And this was so close, right? And she was trying to adjust her hair. She flicked it back, okay, and her whole hair was over my face. Whoa, okay. So I remember that as my purchase experience. Well, at it was loud, it was very active, and yes, people were voluntarily and also involuntarily touching each other by the virtue of we're so close to one another. Okay? All right. How do you ensure that people will buy at the moment of purchase? Well, you want to reduce wait time or give the impression that it is very popular. That's what this slide is all about. Make it, especially for online, you want to make it easy. You want to offer enough selections and open more checkouts. Take a look at this image here. A number of the nightclubs, all right, they're actually not full, but they have artificial lineups outside. Why is that the case? They bring more people, right? When you see there is a lineup, you tend to think, oh, it's a popular nightclub, it's going to be crowded, it's going to be live action, a lot of excitement, and so I'm going to go there, right? And so they purposely don't let people in all at once. They let people trickle a little bit, but they create this artificial line to generate this excitement and demand. So it's a perceived demand that they're trying to generate. All right? And after the purchase, then you reflect on your experience. Either you had a good experience or a negative experience. This slide here just basically to show you that your post-purchase outcome could be very satisfied or not satisfied. If you're not satisfied and you have what's known as post-purchase dissonance, the word dissonance means anxiety. So not only are you not satisfied, but you are feeling anxious, okay, remorseful. So most vendors want to avoid post-purchase dissonance because they want to achieve customer loyalty. All right. The last one I want to share with you tonight, kind of wrapping up this example of going to a nightclub, is the review for Tryst. All right. This is the Tryst reviews, as you can see. The first one says amazing glow night. Next one says best birthday party. But according to Kassan, the title is Rude Staff at Tryst Nightclub. Okay, 1 star. I have never written a bad review for a nightclub. That's usually how it starts. Every one star review always starts with that sentence. I have never written anything. But this time, I think Thirst might be really deserves this bad review. I had a very disappointing experience. Okay, so I didn't post anything on any of the review sites, but people do take out their happiness or frustrations afterwards, and so post-purchase behavior must be managed appropriately. So 1 second, class. At this time, there is one final quiz, and aren't you glad you stayed till the very end? This is quiz B, and the password is the number for today's date. So once you're done with this quiz, I want to remind you that you have to put yourself into a group. Okay? You do it by yourself, and if you cannot, you don't know who those people are, use the email function. All right? It may be a good time to kind of look at each other and see who's who. But you do need to meet outside the class time to get that assignment done. Okay? It is a simple exercise of you doing a SWOT analysis. Roughly 2 to 3 pages per person, and that's it. So anyone here still not in a group? If you're not in a, can you please put up your hand? Not in a group? Are you going to join a group? Do you know someone around you that you can join? Okay, anyone else there? If you need help finding a group, do you need a group member? If you need a group member, can you just let us know? We've got one person here that can join your group. Anyone that wants one more person? You need 2 people? So, Chanel is here and she will join your group. Is there another person who needs to be in a group? Okay. Both of you?
This is the first one?
So, do you want to join his group? So, after class, 1, 2, 3, please go to the gentleman at the back corner, okay? Alright. Thanks everyone. See you next Thursday.
Thank you.